Hello, in this video I will introduce what you need to be aware after fiber is removed in AutoCAD 2015 and how you can migrate the code of sending command to a next release, ObjectX and Dotnet. I'm Xiaodong Linag from Autodesk Developer Technical Services. As we introduced on Dev Days, the next AutoCAD will remove fiber. In the past, we had a lot of fiber issues to work with .NET API code. The knowing issue is when we were debugging and switching the documents, sometimes .NET codes cannot break the point. This is because .NET knows nothing about fiber. So we had to think about a workaround to solve the issues. It was very tedious. Without fiber, AutoCAD can interact with .NET code properly. Secondly, in the past, we can switch the document when one command is waiting for the user interaction. After we switch back, the command is still running. For example, this is AutoCAD 2014. We have two documents. In one document, we start a command circle. We do not complete the command, just waiting for the user interaction. Now we switch to another document and start line command. Similarly, we do not finish this command. When we switch back to document 1, you can see the circle command is still running, waiting for the user input. Similarly, the line command is still running in the second document when we switch back. This is because, in the past, each document has its own fiber. The fiber can manage the status of this document. But the situation changed in the next release. Now this is Longbow, the next AutoCAD. We start the command in one document, and when we switch to a second document, when we switch back, you can see the command line showed. The circle command has been cancelled. Actually, this command has been cancelled when we switching to a second command. This is because the next AutoCAD has no fiber. So, if your command has some user input process, such as ACD get, the command will also be cancelled when switching documents. In the past, we used ACD command or ACDCMD to execute AutoCAD commands. In AutoCAD 2015, they have to be replaced by the new functions ACD command C or ACD command S. Here are two scenarios. The first one is an example of the most basic ACD command usage. It's also the most popular use case, where we invoke a complete command in a single call to ACD command. The so-called complete command is the code provides all parameters for the AutoCAD command without any user interaction. For example, we draw a line and providing start point and end point directly, and the lines will be created automatically. In such scenario, the migration is very easy. Just change ACD command to ACD command S. S means subrouting. Here is one code that we used in the previous, and it sent a command to draw two lines providing 3 points. To migrate such kind of code, you just need to build your project in Visual Studio 2012 with the new libraries file and the header files, and change the function name to ACD Command S. And you can use it in AutoCAD 2015. But a lot of people use ACD command like this, starting a command, then prompting for user input to input the necessary parameters until the command ends. In this case, we start the line command and issue pause to allow the user to keep drawing additional line segment. To migrate such a kind of code to the next AutoCAD, we have to use ACD command C. C means coroutine, because ACD command S does not support partial command token stacks or pauses. To migrate the code to a next release for such kind of scenario, the code will be something like this. We have defined a callback function and passed to ACD command C. We also passed in a parameter object, which can be used in the callback function. And now we start to send the command line and waiting for 2 points. And AutoCAD gets the control and waiting for the user input. After the user provides the 2 points, the callback function is called. And we can get the parameter object, and we can check if line command is running, and we'll also know if this is the first line, and get its object ID and stored in the parameter object. And then the callback function can keep passing the callback itself until the command ends. There will be one pause to get the next point, to create the next line. So we passed in the callback function to ACD command C, also the parameter object, one pause, and continue. And now AutoCAD will get control again, waiting for the input. After the point is provided, the callback function is called again. So we can check if it is the second line, and we can also get its object ID. And we can continue to pass the callback function to ACD command C if we want to draw the next line, until the user ends the command. So we can see the command ends, and we can print out all the object ID in the command line. So the migration is a little bit complex. Okay, about Dotnet. I think the most exciting new API in the next AutoCAD is the Dotnet versions of ACD command. This was not possible before because AutoCAD uses fibers, and the Dotnet framework does not support fibers. So we have the new APIs, synchronous and asynchronous versions of ACD command in the next AutoCAD. Now, the .NET developers can get the same benefit as the ObjectX developers. Similarly, we have two new functions. The first one is editor command. This is the equivalent of the subroutine version of ACD command. This is how you invoke a complete command from your code, similar to ACED command S. Here is a code demo. We called editor command and input all the necessary parameters for this command. As you can see, the code is very similar to the object-arcs version. You passed a full set of command tokens to AutoCAD command line. AutoCAD completes the command for you. So we can give a test. You can see the two lines are created. Easy. Okay. There is also the asynchronous version of a command. This is equivalent of the coroutine version of ACED command. As you remember that when we migrated our code of object arcs to ACED command C, we need to pass in a reference to a callback function. The Dotnet, you can also use a similar workflow with callback function. For example, like this. We defined a callback function that is called createLine async callback, and we start to send a command with command async and with the command line and two pause to wait for the user interface input. After we send command by command async, we delegate callback function. The AutoCAD will get the control firstly, and after the user inputs the points, the callback function will be called. And we can also do the similar to get the last entity, the line, and get its object ID. And then we can hand over to the control to AutoCAD to wait for the next interaction. Just one pause. Similarly, we need to delegate the callback function. Again. Okay. Then this is the second line. After we the user complete the command, we can print out all the object IDs of the lines. So, but this is a little bit complex. If we use .NET 4.5, we can take advantage of the async and await keywords to simplify our asynchronous code. Here we have one more command. But the different thing is we need to define this command with the async keyword. Then, when we start to draw the first line, we can call editor command async. We need to add the await keyword ahead of this command, this line, and start the command and two pauses. Let us debug it. By this line, the control will be passed to AutoCAD. So we are in the interaction of AutoCAD. After this, our command will be called again, but did you notice? It remembers the location we send the command. So it just starts to execute the lines after command async. So we can get object ID. Next, we can continue to the next interaction to get one more point. Okay, the control passed to AutoCAD. After the user input the point, our command is executed again. But you can see it will locate to the code after the command async, the last command async. At last, we finish this command. And now, the code will be located in the next lines, so we can print out all the object IDs. In a word, with async and await keyword, Dotnet implemented the callback mechanism for ourselves, so the code will be much simpler. We recommend you to use async and await keywords of .NET 4.5, and even for your C++ code using ACD Command C, we also recommend you to migrate to .NET so you can take advantage of the .NET features. That's all for this video. Thank you very much.